12 for year 2025 University Wiffleball National Fan Fest Tour will be your host, Jack Vesquinta. Well, that's me. I am the founder and the visionary, but also the creator and organization of University Wiffleball. Welcome to the Fan Fest Celebration Tour of 2025. We got a lot on the line today, but first, before we start, what is University Wiffleball? Well, University Wiffleball, there is basically two parts. The first part is for high school and college students. We're going to start off with college students only, but high school will also be in developmental probably in a few years maybe, after I'm done with college. But you never know. We will talk more about that on future videos. But because it's actually in the college, we are also focusing on to another thing about University Wiffleball. It's a new way to play Wiffleball because we have our own unique rules that is different, but more kind of closer to a baseball setting than a normal Wiffleball game. And it's probably the fastest Wiffleball game. It could be arguably really the fastest. But there's two main parts. It's for entertainment. Maybe not non-stop entertainment, but probably one of the top entertainments. And it's also accessible and inclusive, so this is for everybody. So let's get started for our first thing for this video. Our next first ever announcement is that we are going over the recent changes for University Wiffleball. If you have forgotten, or if you need as a quick reminder of what the new changes will be. But let's get started with the Greenfield Wildfires, and they are now going to be a nighttime setting type 5, but also a very buggy team. I wonder what. Stop, Sting! And they are going to be called the Greenfield Embers. And the Greenfield Embers will be the new team for Greenfield. And now, for the team that has their brand towards you, the fans, instead of calling it Cool Beats, which is kind of a weird, kingy type vibe, we decided, you know what? Maybe we should give a little bit of a nod to where Wiffleball first started in the first place in 2019, when there was a bunch of people, over 70 people in 2019, that ended up making this to be a reality. And yes, thank you Legacy Park for proving or having us to actually try to do this at Wiffleball League, but unfortunately did not. But we're still honoring you because we're the fans, and this is coming to National Legacy. And now our next one is going to be our Chocolate 5 team, and this is going to be the sweetest team in all sports. Get ready for the most traveling and the most adventurous team, the sweetest team alive, very chocolatey, and it's the Dallas Campfires. Yeah, definitely transitioning from Dallas Reindeers. They are still having the reindeer as their mascot, so that's pretty cool. Our one relocating team that is coming from Raleigh, North Carolina, to be more kind of close towards the Taurus of Asheville, the minor league team up in Asheville, North Carolina area, and this would be the Asheville Navigators. The Asheville Navigators are now gonna be relocating to Asheville, North Carolina. And now, Your two developmental teams that decided to change just a couple days ago is going to be the Academics of Kentworth is now going to be called the Kentworth Graduates. The Kentworth Graduates, and yes, they are going to be into the future actually graduating from the wiffleball field after they are done with 1 year of that team. And now we gotta give it up for the most theatrical performance and probably the most biggest and the most hardest, or one of the most hardest workers in all of sports. We decided to give them a little bit of a warm welcome, but they are called the Victories in the past, the Kentworth Victories, but now they're going to be called the Kentworth Mascots. The Kentworth Mascots is now going to be the official name. Do you see what I see right in there? Could that be Julius's brother? Shout out to Rome Emperors for that idea. Good job. Well, that will be your new updates. Stay tuned for more stuff. Okay, so guys, we're gonna have to go over through the technical rules of University Wiffleball just so that you guys can understand it. But the rules for University Wiffleball is that we're not allowed to do as 1v1 rules, but what we are going to do is we're going to start by enforcing mercy rules. That will be a thing, and we're going to make sure that we can start by enforcing a new way for the showdowns, and instead of walks of what we'll end up doing to help the game to go a little bit more faster. And yes, the fans and the umpires may have as a way into the game. Yes, the first time that an umpire might end up having a way to decide the game a bit more further than what you have seen before. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so we gotta go over the new structure for University Wiffleball. How we seed the postseason, obviously. Well, what we're gonna end up doing is now we're gonna end up doing is game points to be number 1, and then we are gonna do this what is called monumental game moments, which this will be a sum for both mercy rule teams and showdowns. Yes. Which will be the first time that we ever do that in University Wiffleball. Now, if that doesn't do it enough, then what we're going to do is we're going to do is win percentage, and then it's going to strength the schedule. If not, then it's the run difference, and then of course you guys a flip of a coin or a randomizer wheel for your randomizer to decide who ends up getting the top team. Right, the best spot of University Wiffleball, obviously. Yep, so that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we gotta introduce you to the new playoff format. Now, obviously, the wildcard round is gonna be a 1-game series, but Seed 1 and Seed 2, unlike last year, they get to go on and punch their tickets to the quarterfinals. They'll either host 7 or 8, depending on if they win or lose in the wildcard round. Well, seed 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5 would be onto the other side of the bracket, and they will have to play to hopefully to avoid to beat the underdog, obviously. Yeah, so it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it's gonna make a lot of sense for those teams anyways. So now here's the actual thing for the Wiffleball League. If you are the underdog team and you lose into the wild card, you have to win your first game in the quarterfinals or else you can be eliminated. If you do, it's going to be best of 2. The other teams, if you're not the underdog, it's going to be best of 2 anyways. So it makes a lot of sense. Yes, this will only be enforced for the bottom of the bracket, the loser bracket, and then of course you got is whoever that seed 1 will be playing. They will be meeting with each other for the actual semifinals, which will be a best of 3, while the winners bracket and the team that ends up competing against number 2 or the second seed, whoever wins will end up playing the best of 3 up at the top of the bracket for the semifinals. Now, when those teams end up being done for their series, once we know who's actually done with that type of game set, then it's going to be best of 4. Main winner what to claim it. Yes, just complete chaos into Wiffleball. So the Wiz Family Pack is with Kennesaw Mountain Wolves, the Aqua Scriptures, the Savannah Furs, and the Birmingham Prowlers. If they don't play against each other the same amount during the season, they will end up playing during the summertime until they have the same amount of games as each other. This will make sure that we have is the same consistency between all teams throughout the season. If it's not an end to the season, it'll be done for the entire year. They will play against each other. A minimum of twice that they will play against each other, but they might end up playing 3 times per year. Who knows? I don't know, but that's for sort of a debate. But obviously, we're gonna go over something a little bit different in just a couple seconds. So, what is the 10 teams in the Natural League? Well, obviously, it's going to be the Kennesaw Mountain Wolves, the Birmingham Prowlers, the Aqua Scriptures, the Savannah Furs, the Jacksonville College Rivals, the Asheville Navigators, the Greenfield Embers, the Nashville Legacy, the Dallas Campfires, and then the Ruston Verdicts. Obviously, those are your 10 teams in the Natural League. But you also had the Challenger League, which you already know the graduates of Kentworth, and then of course the mascots of Kentworth, which yes, they will be competing against each other next year for the spring training. And the graduates will always play for spring training best of 3, but it's going to be a 5-year cycle with different teams that will get into the spring training facility. Now, because of the Challenger League Series teams, the top 4 teams into the Challenger League region will end up being played at the Natural League teams, which would be pretty awesome to see that happening, which would be considered Challenger games, and this will be done during the summertime. But obviously for number 1, they're going to be playing against 1 and 2, 2, 3 and 4, 3, 5 and 6, and for the 4th, they're going to be playing the last 2, meaning 9 or 10. And then 5 and 6, the worst 2 in the Challenger Series. I mean, you need to root for those Challenger teams to listen in order for you to hopefully to advance, which could be quite wild to see it to be a reality. Nothing safe for University Wiffleball these days. Though still, obviously. Yeah, that's pretty awesome if you have to tell me that. but it's going to 4 teams that the graduates and the mascots will be playing for next year. Well, we're going to have this miracle to tell us who will be those teams. Well, thank you, Miracle, for that wonderful announcement that you saw just a couple seconds ago. But why did we choose those teams in the first place? That's a great question. So, the Chancellor's Idols is the most spiritual team in all sports because we have to do a little bit of a flashback what was done behind the scenes and was not rigged at all. But though, seriously, we had the number 2 seed team, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, and they had Jesus to bat. But more importantly, he played phenomenally well on the mound, which he retired 5 batters. But most importantly, this is what he ended up doing. Steer-rack to the devil. Yeah, to the devil himself. The devil gets striked out and then he's like this. Yeah, he goes right down to the dirt. Just like that. He goes right down to the dirt. Where he lives right now. As we are speaking. So, that's the Kentworth Idols, of course. Pretty cool, isn't it? Well, then we also have is the Kentworth Celebratory Corn Dogs, which this is arguably the most patriotic team in all sports. And yes, any type of food that you name at a ballpark, they can bring it. This means corn dogs, hot dogs, soft pretzels, hamburgers, cheeseburgers, whatever. You name it, you'll have it. As long as it's a ball game. Yes. And then, of course, we will have is probably the most berry-tastic, the most fruitless of all the teams, but also with a bit of spice. You season a pepper and salt on it, which would be the Kentworth Orchards. And yes, that makes a lot of sense. And then, of course, our last one. What is going on with these indoor lighting strikes? What is going on with these indoor lighting strikes? Oh my goodness. Do I see a broccoli? Yeah, that's disgusting. Now, I love broccoli. Yeah. But some people don't. But what is that? Is that a mushroom? Clap? Oh my goodness. Get ready for the most scariest team alive in sports. And this would be for a stormy day. A stormy night. Get ready for the thunderstorms! Yes, the thunderstorms. Which will be the Kentworth thunderstorms, of course. Most scariest team alive. Yes, the Kentworth thunderstorms. That's right. Well, thank you to these teams for actually helping us out to be where University Wiffleball will not be where it is today without these teams that I'm going to list out. The Savannah Bananas, the Savannah Party Animals, the Savannah Firefighters, the Texas Tailgaters, and our organization, including the staff at the Banana Ball organization, the Columbus Greenstones, the Rome Emperors, and the Tri-City Chili Peppers. We cannot thank you enough for giving the inspiration to make this league possible. And also, thank you to you, the fans, for helping us to support us as we are going through a whole new chapter of University Wiffleball League. In 2026, the club is going to start by making some mark, and they're going to start by maybe winning some championships potentially, or just winning games in general. And we're taking the whole season to a whole new level with a total of 16 teams, which we introduced 4 teams compared to Banana Ball, who's only gonna introduce 2 teams this fall in October. Well, stay tuned for the Firefighters Headline Tour, as they will be taking on the Texas Tailgaters at the same time as Savannah Bananas will host the Party Animals back in Savannah, Georgia in about 15 to 20 minutes. Thank you for watching, and Mirko is going to help us to close out the video. Make sure that you leave a like and subscribe and turn on notifications so this way that you don't miss out on any University Wiffleball.